Hey, AreuMadLoL here. Today we're going to be showcasing two clients in this video. Now I know a lot of you are going to say,
"What are we? Lunar eating Alpha 1.8
yes, I know this. I just wanted to make this video for fun and just compare the two clients to each other. And another thing to add, yes, I'm aware that Lunar Client 1.8 version is not done yet. Some of you may have already heard.
I haven't optimized the frames that much.
I'm not sure how much they've brushed it up in terms of FPS to this update that they've pushed.
As the FPS boost is not finished yet. So now that that's out of the way, let's move on to the video. Starting with Lunar Client, on the starting screen, we see a clean GUI. You got the logo right there staring at you. Two options for single player and multiplayer. In the top left, you can actually change your accounts, while on Badlion, it's actually swapped on the other side. Of course, the options such as settings or cosmetics are neatly at the bottom in a small factor icon forms for less clutter on the screen. Moving on to Badlion's starting screen, you can see a whole lot different compared to Lunar. Starting off with the big picture, you'll see for me it changed. It might be staff apps, it might be whatever new in the store. It depends on whatever's on there right now. But it's a great place to put it, as you know, it's the starting screen. It advertises what it needs to be, and it starts off right from the get-go. And of course, at the bottom, you're gonna have the wings, the cloaks, and the FAQ for convenience sakes. The logo's at the top of the screen, and all the options are in one vertical line, starting with single player and all the way ending off with quit game. You actually get extra buttons here and extra features. You get to see the store from in the client, and you get to see the patch notes to see what was actually changed. Another noticeable difference is that you actually get to change what mod profile you want to use in the top left and change accounts in the top right, while on Lunar you can only change your account in the 1.8 version. Moving on to Endgame, the changes start to become very noticeable. Starting with Badlion client, to get into the widgets and HUD and so on, with both these clients you press right shift. On Badlion, it's a slide out menu from the left, while on Lunar Client, everything just appears instantly with the logo in your face, and you're already starting off in the Hud Editor, while on Badlion, you just start with the widgets. Widgets? I said that's so weird. Let's talk about the widgets. When they're put up against each other, Badlion does have more widgets, such as Auto GG, Auto Tip, Auto Text, Hitbox, Clear Water, Enchant Glint, FOV Changer, Full Bright, Item Counter, Item Info, Items Physic, I suck at English, Level Head, Minimap, Motion Blur, Particles, Protection, Reach Display, Schematica, oh my god, Saturation, Timers, and Shiny Pots. Now obviously Lunar Client 1.8 isn't finished, so in the future a lot of these could easily be implemented inside the client when there's more as a when it's more at a finished state. And as Badlion has had more time to develop, it would be obvious they have as many as they do. Let's get into some of the main widget differences, starting off with keystrokes. Right away you'll notice the scale, you would have to use a slider in Lunar, while on Badlion Client you could use it to adjust it on the edge. Some people prefer one over the other. I find both ways fine. Badlion keystrokes are a bit more customizable. In the LB and the RB button, you actually have the option to add CPS on both those buttons to see how much you're clicking. While if you want to see your CPS on Lunar, you just have to enable CPS by just enabling the separate widget for CPS to see your clicks per second. Fun fact, the Chroma on both clients are actually different from each other. On Badlion Client, you have a tick to turn off, and on Chroma, and in Lunar, you have a tick as well as a speed slide adjuster. Badlion Client doesn't have a speed adjuster for any of the Chroma colors, so you will be stuck with how fast or slow it already is. Next widget I want to talk about is actually the FPS widget. Now, you may not notice the difference, but there is some. Something I find interesting is there's a no background option in Lunar Client, and when you tick this, it will automatically put the FPS in brackets, which I actually find to be quite nice. In Badlion, this option isn't present. However, you can remove the background, but it doesn't add brackets in Badlion Client, an option that isn't present in Lunar Client. An option that isn't present in Lunar Client is to be able to reverse the text on the HUD. A lot of people don't use this feature, but I find it to be a nice, neat feature to have. Another feature that isn't present in Badlion is the option to turn on drop shadow. The text, as you can see here, the difference is minimal, but it adds a nice effect for people who like that stuff, kind of like me. I'm basically done with widgets at this point because, a lot of them, they're just going to be the same thing and they have like slight differences. So I'm probably just going to stop with the widgets here for now on and just move on to some other stuff. Moving on to the online and friending feature of each client. Virtually, they're almost identical. Some extra settings on Badlion, but that's where it ends. Except on Lunar Client, you actually get to chat with whoever's in your friends list. While on Badlion Client, this feature doesn't exist. Never mind, you just found out you have to right click. Another feature missing from one of the clients is in Badlion client, you can favorite you can favorite friends. For example, you can pick out which friend you like, and you know, all the other friends are trash. You know, make sure your non-favorites don't see. Let's talk about the Hud Editor. In Lunar, you press the right shift and you're instantly there. But while on Badlion, you have to open the slider, then you gotta click the edit head button. One key difference you notice is the scaling is immediately available to you, while in Lunar, you adjust it via slider. This has been a small problem that I had, but when you're editing your profile on Badlion client and want to make something smaller, the scaling of the font and etc. starts to look a little bad. I'm pretty sure this is a minor issue that I've had, but as long as you adjust it, you know, accordingly, it won't be much of a problem. Let's move on to cosmetics. On Badlion, you have a whole array of cosmetics to choose from. Dances, capes, wings, you name it. They already implemented it. Lunar Client doesn't have nearly as much Badlion does. They mostly have capes, wings, and dances. I don't have any on Lunar Client, so I'm just showing the ones I have on, you know, Badlion Client. In the end, this might have been kind of a short video, but I just wanted to do this little fun thing. In the end, when it comes down to it, it's going to mostly be subjective choice. You know, it's going to be personal preference at the end, which client you want to use when Lunar is released. Personally, there's some things I love about Badlion and Lunar. I love the HUD on Lunar. I love the cosmetics on Badlion. I'm not here to say Lunar is better than Badlion, and I'm not here to say Badlion is, you know, better than Lunar. I'm not trying to say that at all. I feel like they're both great, amazing clients. Again, shout outs to Tryhard and Jordan and Noah for giving me access to Lunar Client. Lunar Client, I feel like, has great potential once the FPS boost is done, because one thing I would say, in 1.7, the FPS boost is way better than it is on Badlion 1.8. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to. So in the future, I'll be on the lookout for Lunar Client's Twitter, you know, the website, you know, make sure you watch Tryhard's videos on them. I'm sure that little goat guy is going to be, I'm pretty sure that goat's got what he needs to be on the Lunar Client 1.8 scene. So if you guys ever want to be updated on stuff like this, I would follow Tryhard and Jordan and all those people behind the Tryhard client. Lunar Client. And obviously for Badlion Client, you follow their Twitter, you know, everyone is behind that if you want to get updated behind them. I'm probably going to be updating more on Lunar since it's it's more new than Badlion. But in the end, I'm just happy and grateful to have both of these clients, and I feel like you shouldn't really mind whatever you have. Just have fun with whatever client you use, and at the end of the day, just have fun, alright? In the end, that's mostly all I wanted to showcase and talk about, and I went over what made a lot of differences between each client, and I don't want to make this video too long. Hope you guys enjoyed this little client showcase video. Love you guys, and thank you for watching. Also, thank you for 25,000 subscribers. Trust me, I saw. Tomorrow, you're going to get the texture pack.